Alright, welcome ladies and gentlemen, my name is Al Jazeer and I am a analyst for Abraham server right now. And today we're going to be going over one of the nuke games that were going on in the month of November. This one happened on November 19th. Now, the two teams that we are covering today, we have covered previously. Now, this being Team Matchless and Team Horizon. Team Matchless was the first video I put out. They won 13-4 with great opening kills and just pushing in past that point. And then Team Horizons, who won 13-4 as well, with their great rotations and everything else, how they were very snappy. Now, this match is a best of two. Now, the best of two format was created to try to showcase a little bit more on the opposing side that you didn't have that much ability, because a lot of these games came out into blowouts, such as the 13-4. So you would play a normal best of one, normal match, and then you would play a second match, and your goal was to try to avoid giving up more rounds than you had the previous game. So Team Horizons won 13-4, and all they had to do for the next match was win 5 to basically prove that their other side was better than the previous team. Than the other teams, not the previous teams. This format is luckily gone away because it does hinge heavily on momentum. I think these games would have been a lot different if the other team had started on the other side. But that's neither here nor there. We're going over just the lessons learned of what each team did well and what they need to work on in the future to either elevate their game to the next level or just bring it up to a point where they would have a contentious game, as for what the losers would have. Now, this is not saying that either team is inherently bad. They might have just had a bad day, bad start. Who knows? But we're just going to be going more so into the macro levels, so the decision making, the positioning, what they were doing, util usage, rather than being aim and everything else. Because yeah, some days you got bad aim, and I can't do anything about that. But for the other portions, such as positioning, util, how you're taking the map control and what your game plan is for both the T and CT side, I can definitely bring in something to the table of pointing out things that you probably have seen, but you don't know to what extent you've got. So we do a system called 3 ups and 3 downs, where I give you 3 things that you've done well, and then 3 things the team did bad. And it's a way to, one, have that positive reinforcement. Say that you've done something well, and here's the things to elevate that portion. And as with the last 2 games, we're going to start with the team winner, that being Team Horizon. And I actually have full-on a Word document, and this is 5 pages long that I've gone through every round and been like, why did you do this and everything. If you guys are interested in the Word doc, both teams, you're more than welcome to ask me for them. But it is we're going to maintain focus on the major points. So for the first up for Team Horizons, I messed that up, is rotations. So this is not a surprise. This is something they've already been doing well since the previous game, and they're just continuously showcasing this. To go into the 13-4 and the replays, there's been multiple rounds where, with them on the other side, we're going to start going into, I think, round 3 was a good one. So Yep sees everybody go down, and before they've even taken full control, B-Hop is already down. Milk has already rotated. He sees people, they're already going down, and by the time they get onto site, you have one guy almost in position, another guy almost in position, a third guy right behind him, and then the back being covered. And then one guy continuing to hold the information just in case they decided to go back. Now he goes down, now that Plant is there. and everybody is here. Like, you can work with a full like kit and caboodle when you're working on this. So great rotations is just something that this team is kind of known for. If we were to look at my stuff, like, they take outside control, they get kills low, like they get kills outside, and the team is already like moving and positioning themselves correctly. I mean, this one's not the best because Team Matchless got 2 opening kills before Team Horizons was able to do anything, but it goes into my next point of what Team Horizons has done. And this is another point that I've already praised them about in the past, being their clutch factor. They are able to bring themselves out of that. It's not even just the clutch factor, it's more of like a resiliency. Like, usually when you're on a 3v5, you're like, oh fuck, I'm in a 3v5. But Team Horizons has repeatedly demonstrated through actions that one being on the back foot doesn't affect them too much. It should. Absolutely, it should. Like, this thing, like, they're on the back foot, honestly, a decent amount this game. But they are able to stay resilient and honestly clutch a lot of these things out, which shows tenacity, information gathering, and a bunch of other things, and just honestly belief in yourself that you're going to go and win this. So that's a huge factor when we're talking about like teams, because a lot of the times when you are building a new team, you're going to have those like struggles, those like the hard points. So the fact that they can keep on this resiliency factor and show the clutches, that's great. And then the last thing, I don't even know why I went onto this, but the last thing I was going to praise them about is their aim. One, because despite the fact they were losing a lot of these like opening duels, there were members in this team that were just hitting their shots, especially when they counted. Um, like, on the overview and everything else, it says that Panda had a 54. There is a, I'd have to go through exactly, but there is a round in here with Panda being like that one guy to take the initial attack. And not only is he able to do so, like, I wouldn't say handily, but he's able to handle the situation with a 4K. Yeah, it's right here. So round 9, he comes in, he gets flashed out. Second flash, gets 1, gets 2, gets 3. Sorry, a 3K. But he's like consistently getting 3Ks. His aim in Leadify might not be the greatest, but he's able to consistently spray down opponents. Milk is also like super high up there in aim. So this is a praise to the aim, because you can't get those types of kills without good aim. Like, bad aim would have gotten you killed after the second guy. But now we're going to go into the negatives. So 3 downs. Utility on the T side. Sometimes on the CT too. There have been a couple of times where Team Matchless went in for an A hit and there was just no Molotovs down. Honestly, there wasn't even positioning really for the Molotovs to go down, but the fact that like we're not using the util to stop these pushes, it's one of the things that'll hurt you, and allows those like eco pushes and everything else to go in. But more specifically on the T side, is there was more reliance on aim than there was about utility. Like, congratulations, you lost the first kill, and you're only up against deep pistols, but there's no util setting you up for these like outside takes, and if there is, it's only a smoke here. Like, I'd rather see 2 smokes here, commit to the downstairs push, play through that. right here. Just not really positioned to go and take this. And then the decision making to not go down and wrap around instead of helping out the bomb carrier was baffling. Another thing is giving 1v1s. So a lot of the times where they were going down that one guy was because it was just a 1v1. Try to set yourself up, especially if you're going to be a little bit aggressive or like working to get those controls, to have somebody help you get that control. Like things are way easier if you're pushing off of a flash than if you are pushing by yourself. It's always going to be the case. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with me on that portion. And I get it. Some positions, especially in nuke, don't really allow you to have this, especially like if you're talking ramp. But if you want to be aggressive ramp, you can go ask the Heaven player. Heaven player be like, yo, throw me a flash down here, or like, can I get like a couple smokes to continue this delay? So continuously set yourself, like set each other up, and you always will find, not always, but most of the time, find success. Can't really speak in absolutes. Then the last one is trading sometimes, and this falls into the giving up the 1v1s. Like lose a guy here because Lucifer pushed out. Milk's not in a position to like trade for that. Honestly, I don't know why the aggression was needed in the first place, but that's how Lucifer likes to play. So he's just gonna have to learn like the ins and outs of being that type of aggressive player, and like hopefully like whoever is being with him, because I know Milks was a stand-in, is there to try to help support like his being aggressive. But no trade coming out of there. Even in the clutch round for over here, it's kind of hard to get a trade for that. And I'm not saying that Panda should have gotten the trade. I'm saying that probably Milk and Lucifer should have teamed up together to figure out like how they're pushing and then get trades based off of that. It's neither here nor there. It's just one of those things. Play together, both util and stopping the 1v1s. And like retakes will be easier. Things will be easier. Just even with like what people would consider shoddy aim. And I'm already praised you on aim, but like working together with good aim strengthens the entire pot. That's Team Horizons. So just to recap, good rotations, great clutch factor, great aim. Just you need to work on your utility, stop giving away the 1v1s, and like work on trading and enabling your teammates. Cool. Team Matchless. So, Team Matchless, they did really good at taking space. And what I mean by that is they were able to constantly find success in getting a plant down, having a plant in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's half of the rounds they were able to get plant down. And even more so, they were able to, like, even rounds they weren't getting plants down, 2 kills, getting the opener. They were constantly able to take space on their T side. This is great. This is what we want to see. We want you to get openers. We want you to be able to get plant down. Start working on that post plant situation. So absolutely, like good job kidding, like being able to take space, and keep doing that. Like that portion, like step 1, always like is working for you. So keep doing step 1. We're just gonna fall into the later steps later. Part of that getting space, and I just mentioned it, opening kills. You were getting lots of opening kills, like constantly putting Team Horizons on the back foot, which is good. You want to be on that position. You want to have that advantage, that man advantage, that wiggle room to move around and like do your late game maneuvers. And then your utils. So this is another thing I've praised Team Matchless in the past, but their util, especially for outside, and if they're gonna go take A, is great. Like outside, they're throwing their line smokes. They know exactly what they're doing. They're going down, and they're playing like it. And then when they're playing A, there's flashes going out. Hut's being mollied, so they don't have to worry about Hut. And they're just using this utility to enable their pushes in a much better and much safer way of doing so. So great job on the util. But now we're gonna go into like some of the things of why you lost. And some of it kind of goes down to aim, but poor post plants. Like you got plant down. I said 6 out of the 12 times, but you only got 3 rounds. That's a problem. And a lot of it came to do was like you were giving up like those clutches to Team Horizon. You had a 5v3, gave things up, or a 4v3, gave things up. Like when you have plant one communicate, say, I'm looking at this, I'm looking at that. Use the rest of your util to secure down those sites, and make these things easier for yourself. But also play your life. Don't need to feel the need to swing into these things. Allow them to like try to swing into you, play into your pocket, because defense is always going to be easier than offense. You just need to like switch that mentality. Like, all right, we finished objective 1, switch into objective 2. Now we're going to defend this. We're going to hold our position. We're going to jiggle around. We're going to stay alive for the most part, because like keeping yourself alive on a post plant situation is huge. Just work on the post plants. Honestly, I would recommend the team does a lot of retake situations and play them as if they were in a real game. I know that's a crazy thought, but a lot of times when we play retakes, we like to mess around, or we like to be that aggressive player. Play it like you're in a game, and like this is something you need to do. And I think you'll find a lot of success going through these retakes. Getting too fancy. So on the CT side, this is what I mean like by getting too fancy. Was, let's see, where's the best one? I had good rotations. I think I found it on the other portion. Yeah. But essentially, like you were trying a lot of interesting plays on the defensive side, and it just baffled me. Like why is one? This is another thing, but why was Lucario sitting there with a shotgun on Heaven? Like he probably should have switched with Grim and had Grim play Heaven, and then him play on top of Hut because he's got a shotgun. Didn't really see you guys go too crazy into there. This was one of them where you guys threw 2 people ramp, 2 people outside, and not a whole lot going A, and that one hurt you a lot. Like you guys got way too fancy. And then this one, you had so much map control, and then you just gave it up for I don't know what type of reason. And that was one of the hampering effects. You keep with the map control, keep things simple, and you'll find a whole, I won't say a whole lot more success, but you'll find that some of your silly mistakes are going to be resolved because you're not trying to be that fancy player. You're not trying to like overthink your opponent. Sometimes it's as simple as like just hold your positions. That's like the most I've got for that. and then giving up a man advantage. This was the biggest one. This is one of the hard ones because I know you guys probably went through your match and realized, oh wow, we had man advantage so many times. Like, why couldn't we get like this? Like, why couldn't we get the round? Um, and every round happened differently, so I can't say like there was one exact point of like, oh, you're always doing this, and that's why you're giving up man advantage. But some of the most common things that I see when people do like lose after giving up man advantage is they don't got the game plan. So there's a lot of questions of like, where should we go? And they're trying to test and prod things already. That they have the man advantage. They don't need to do that. They just need to be able to stack up someplace and go. Um, Two, like they get, like I said before, like they get too fancy. They try to outmaneuver something else, and things go wrong. But the biggest, the other thing that I've noticed is people just sit, like, not sit. In fact, I'd rather they sit. They get too ambitious and like try to push in onto an area that they got to kill 10 seconds ago. Now, if you got to kill that 1 second and you know, like, that's the opening that you need to get into a site, get that kill, call for the site push. I'm 100% for it. Like, that's a plan. Everybody's on board. They're heading out. It's usually like the 10-second later of like, okay, I think I got a kill over here. Let's go push. That I see people try to do. And by that point, people have already rotated over and your push is going to be less successful. Um, so, but the biggest thing is like, work on those post plants. It's okay to keep things simple. Like, just play your positions. You're going to do great. And work on allowing your opponents to be antsy whenever they're in that position, like man disadvantage position. Like, sometimes holding out, being that annoying like thorn in someone's side is huge, because then they're gonna try to get fancy and make more mistakes, and that's something you can capitalize on. If you have any questions for me, you can reach out on Discord at Al Jazeer. But good games to everybody. I will be back with another match that's in the queue that I need to work on. And I can't wait to post that one too. I'll see you next time.